Hello, everyone. My name is Michela Bertazzi, and I am the manager of the online course on fostering the social and professional reintegration of returning migrants. And it's my pleasure to welcome you today to the official start and the official launch of the course. Now, in this video, I am going to share with you a short presentation to give you a bit more information on what you can expect in the next few weeks of the course, what you can expect week by week, where you can find all the course material, how you can access it, and what the completion requirements are so that you can get your certificate at the end. I will briefly share my screen with you. And here we go. So let's start perhaps with the background to the course and the objectives that we are hoping to reach when we get to the end of this learning journey. So obviously, the main objective for us is to increase the awareness of the importance of developing adequate mechanisms that can sustain the reintegration of returning migrants, and also to help redefine the policy priorities to make sure that they also address issues that revolve around the return of former migrant workers. We want to guide you through steps to understand the different factors that come into play, the different public policies that can be developed, but also how those elements, as well as the pre and post-return conditions, can shape migrant reintegration patterns in their country of origin. We also want to explore the question of whether return can or otherwise can have a positive or negative impact on the development path or on the development journey of the migrant's country of origin. So we're going to look at and explore the issue of whether the impact that is definitely there is going to be a positive or a negative impact, and also ask ourselves why it may be the case for one or the other. We're going to put forward analytical tools and instruments, for example, indicators that allow adequate policies to be adopted that can effectively support migrants' reintegration efforts upon return into their country of origin. And then we're going to promote the integration and the inclusion of return migration issues, as I mentioned at the beginning, both at the national development strategy, at the level of the national development strategy, but also with a broader look at the regional dimensions of that as well. Now, let's take a quick look at the agenda of the course. So the course is going to last for 6 weeks. It has started this Monday. And in this initial week, we're going to take a look at an introductory module. We're going to look at what it means to promote effective return and reintegration of migrant workers, and what the key concepts around return or reintegration of return migrants, what it means and what it looks like in practice. And then we're going to delve right in and address one of the objectives that we mentioned before, and look at the linkages, the mutual influence that migration and development can have, and looking at how we can bridge the policy gap between migration policies, and specifically return migration policies, or policies that address the reintegration of return migrants, and development policies. And then we're going to ask ourselves the question, why do we advocate for return and reintegration policies, and why do we think that they are necessary? Going a little bit more then into the concrete bits of the design and implementation of programs and policies that address the reintegration of returning migrants. That is going to be the focus of the second part of the course. So looking a bit more at the practices. What are the general principles that need to be kept in mind when designing and implementing return and reintegration programs and projects or policies? What are the main issues and challenges that we can expect to face when designing and implementing these sort of policies and programs. And as well, we're going to take some time to look at some emerging good practices, and hopefully we'll be able to collect even more and hear even more of those emerging good practices from you, the participants, to this course. Now, we mentioned that the course is going to last for 6 weeks. This is a little bit to give you an idea of what you can expect week by week. So each of the 6 weeks that compose the course will be will include the different activities that you see listed on this slide. Most of the weeks we're going to have 2 webinars, with a couple of exceptions where there will be only 1 live webinar, 1 live session that will be accompanied by self-guided materials or pre-recorded videos. You will find some suggested readings, mostly in the form of interactive modules that you can read through from the eCampus platform. More about that in a moment, but it's going to be accessible both from your laptop computer and from your mobile phone. And then in terms of the activities that you can expect to have to complete each week, there will be 2. One will be a discussion forum, and one will be a weekly quiz. So the purpose of the 2 is in a way similar, but also distinct. In the weekly quiz, we're going to try and make sure that you have absorbed some information, that you have retained some knowledge. But in the weekly forum, we want to see what you can do with the knowledge that you have acquired. So really, we're looking to see something a little bit more in depth than the simple acquisition of concepts or notions, but how you can translate that into perhaps your day-to-day work, or a reflection on how you can apply, or how you have already applied perhaps some of the concepts, some of the issues that you have discussed throughout the week into a concrete professional context. So one more about the acquisition of knowledge, and then one more about what you how you use that knowledge, or how you are going to use that knowledge. We have quite a varied pool of participants reaching us from different parts of the world. So from our side, we always try to set the webinar times in such a way that they can be accessed throughout different time zones. Sometimes this proves a bit more of a challenge than other times, depending on the composition of the participants pool. You can expect the webinars in this course to always start at 8 o'clock Central European Summer Time until I think the middle of October, when the time will shift to Central European Time, abandoning the summer daylight saving time. However, the timings of the webinar are always indicating in Central European Time, Central European Summer Time, while it is while it lasts. So it will be 8 a.m. Central European Summer Time. On the eCampus of the course, so the e-learning platform that will accompany you throughout the entire course, you will also find a nice little tool on the side that will help you calculate the time difference and see what that time will be in your own time zone. So you will just need to insert 8 a.m. Turin time, and then it will translate that into your own time zone. You will find this and more on the eCampus platform, which I'm going to talk to you about now. This is what the homepage of the course will look like. Some of you may already have followed or completed other ITC ILO courses and may already be familiar with the platform itself. If not, don't worry, we're here to guide you every step of the way through the use of the platform, because this is really where the magic happens. We spend a lot of time and put a lot of emphasis on the webinars that you will, the live sessions that you will be able to participate in. However, the live sessions are only one component of the learning experience that we have devised for you, that we are going to offer to you. A lot more is going to happen on the eCampus. You should have received, if you're watching this video, you should have received a notification, an automated notification from the eCampus giving you the link to access, and also the information on how to set your password and what your username will be. Bear in mind, I'm not going to go into a lot of details now in this pre-recorded video, but bear in mind that if you have at any point any issues in accessing the eCampus, because the access to the eCampus is so important, please write to us right away, send us an email, send us a message, and we're going to try and guide you step by step. You should also have received a tutorial, a video tutorial on how to log in. So hopefully no issues there. But if you are having problems, please make sure to reach out to us. So all of the activities of the course will be found on the eCampus. As you can see, here on my screen, the first section is titled about the course, and it gives you information about the course structure, the certification requirements, which is basically a summarized version of what I am telling you in this video. But at least you will have a written document that is going to guide you through the different requirements and the structure of the course. On top of that, in the same section, you will find the course agenda, which may still be adjusted slightly, although we're going to try and be as predictable as we can in offering the live sessions. And then you will find some information on the team behind the course and on the experts that are going to be speaking during the different the different live sessions. Below that, you will find some preliminary activities and then the actual technical content of the course, which is composed of the links to the live sessions and the recordings afterwards, the accompanying PowerPoints and any additional readings that you may be interested in exploring, the self-guided modules for that week, as well as the learning activities. So therefore, the weekly forum that I mentioned before and the weekly quiz. Now, speaking of the quiz, they will count for 30% of the course assessment. So you can imagine that the course is assessed on a scale of 100 points. So the quizzes will count for 30 of those 100 points. There will be 6, 1 per week. And you will need to complete, so you can take them all at the same time at the end of the course if you so wish, so you don't have any intermediate deadlines. However, make sure that you complete them in order, because otherwise you will not be able to access them. So you will be able to access the weekly quiz number 1, and then once that is complete, weekly quiz number 2 will be unlocked, and so on. The deadline to complete will be the end of the course, so you don't have to rush necessarily through them, but maybe also try to pace them out throughout the course so that you don't have to rush at the end. They will be composed of 10 questions with a multiple choice answer. In most cases, but not always, so pay attention to the way that the question is formulated. In most cases, there is only one correct option, but that is not always the case, so pay attention to that. There is no minimum passing grade, which means that you don't have to necessarily reach a certain number of points to be able to mark the quiz as completed, but you do get only one try. So whichever number of points you get at the end, that is going to be the number of points that is going to count for your certification. You don't get any do-overs. So make sure that you try it once you have reviewed the material for the week, once you feel confident that you're going to give the good answer. One of the things that we haven't discussed so far, but that is going to be an important part of the course, and it's going to also work towards this idea of seeing how you apply what you have learned throughout the course into a concrete context, a concrete scenario, is the group work that we're going to be doing throughout the 6 weeks. This is going to count for up to 20 points. You will be divided into random groups. Mostly the criteria that we use to create the groups is either the time zone or the language. So we won't let you choose your own group. We're going to prepare the groups from our side. You will be given the outline of two fictional characters. They are all return migrants, and they all have very different conditions, both pre and post return, and throughout their migration journey. They have different skills profiles, they have different genders, they have different elements built into their profile, which we will ask you to analyze. And then at the end of that, we will ask you to present the result of your group discussion and formulate a proposal to help make their reintegration upon return a little bit smoother, perhaps a little bit more efficient, and try to develop strategies that can support them in their reintegration journey. This will be presented at the end of the course during the last session in the course on 18th of October. The other component of your final, let's say, grade of your completion requirements for this course is the final essay. We're going to ask you to submit a final assignment in the form of a short essay to build on how you can apply what you have learned to your own context. So we're really looking for a personal reflection here. It again is going to count for about 20% of the course assessment, so up to 20 points, which will be awarded according to the criteria that you see here on the screen. So we're going to give out 3 points for the clarity of the subject. Are you asking a specific research question that you're trying to address? Is the issue that you're going to discuss made clear to the reader? And is it both easily identifiable, easily understandable, but also well justified? 7 points for the alignment with the technical content and the theoretical frameworks that are presented throughout the course. So really incorporating the technical content that is going to be explored throughout the course. If you put forward any recommendations, we're going to assess the coherence of the recommendations. This is optional. This is not required. It's obviously very welcome. If you're looking at a specific situation and you want to put forward any recommendations for how the situation can be addressed, how the current approaches can be improved, and so on, this is very welcome. But however, this criterion, these 7 points for coherence, are going to really look at the internal coherence of your argument. So starting from the, as I said, the research question that you posed at the beginning, then how is it explored? How is it addressed throughout your essay? Is it addressed in a coherent manner? Do the conclusion flow from the body of the text that you have developed? The final thing that we're going to look at is the gender perspective and how effectively it is mainstreamed throughout your essay. So we don't want your essay or assignment or even your forum entries throughout the course to be gender blind. We know that gender plays a huge role or can have a huge impact in the effectiveness of otherwise of a reintegration journey for a return migrant. So we want to also see that come out in your reflection. Take some time to think about how you can mainstream this perspective, this lens throughout your work. We often get a lot of questions about the final essay, how long it should be, how should it be structured, and so on. We're going to prepare a separate set of slides that we're going to share with you towards the end of the course, not very much at the end, but so that you still have time in the second part, let's say, of the course to still prepare for the final essay. But in terms of the marks that you will get, like I said, it's going to be up to 20 points. It may take a while. It may take a while for us to get back to you with your final grades, and this will depend obviously on the number of essay that we receive, on the length of the essays that we receive, and how in depth you want to go in the issues that you explore. This will mean that you may not hear from us for a couple of weeks after the end of the course. And before you get your final certification, a couple of months may even pass. We're going to do our best to make sure that the wait is as short as possible. However, this is only partially within our control. So we ask for your patience while we wrap up the assessments and the grades and we issue the certificates. If you have any doubts that perhaps the certificate has been sent and you have not received it, please feel free to reach out to us. Make sure to also note that the certification, when it comes, it's not going to come from our email address, migration@itcilo.org, but it's going to come from a different email address because it's managed by a different unit within the center. So look for the address certification@itcilo.org. Check your spam folder. It will take some time, but it will get to you. As some of you who have already completed courses with us may already know, the center usually offers 2 types of certification, and this is true for all of the courses in the labor migration portfolio. So the first is the certificate of participation, which you can get if you complete at least 59%. So if you get at least, let's say, 59 points or so, or around that mark, or a certificate of achievement where you have a minimum of 60 points plus the submission of the final essay. So even if you get 100 points because you complete everything perfectly throughout the course, you will still need to be to put in the little extra effort, the little extra work that comes through the submission of the final essay. Why is the distinction important? The certificate of achievement is the only one that is eligible for the diploma for labor migration experts and practitioners. The diploma is an overarching, let's say it's sort of an umbrella certification that you can aim for once you complete 4 courses. One that necessarily has to be the Labor Migration Academy, and then 3 other open courses that you can choose from the wider labor migration portfolio. Upon completion of these 4 courses, you will be asked to submit a capstone project, which is going to be sort of a short thesis, short dissertation, written dissertation, and then you will be awarded the diploma for labor migration experts and practitioners. However, as I said, but let me stress it again, only the certificate of achievement is going to be eligible for the diploma. So make sure that if you're aiming for the diploma, that you complete the little extra work of submitting your final assignment to ensure that you can get the right type of participation. Now, before I close, let me perhaps spend a little bit of time on a recap of the requirements. So we've looked at the different elements that you see on this slide. We've discussed the quizzes, we've discussed the group work, we've talked about the forum discussions and the final assignment. Each of these is going to contribute a number of points towards your final certification. So 30 for the quizzes, 20 for the group work, 30 for the forum discussions, and 20 for the final assignment. You will see here below that there are an extra 10 points that we usually we hand out when participants have been especially active, especially productive throughout the course, and they need a little extra push to get their certificate of achievement, maybe because one of their forum discussions was a little bit weaker, or maybe they missed one, but they contributed very well to the other ones, and so on. When we talk about active participation, let me stress it once again, it doesn't necessarily just mean participation in the live sessions. Yes, participation in the live sessions is important, but as we mentioned, the course is composed of so much more than that. We're going to take a look at the forum discussions. We're going to take a look at how you interact with each other, for example, in the forums. And for us, the forum is obviously a good way of capturing, or let's say of getting inputs from you. So it goes in a bit in one direction, from the different participants to the course team, and from the course team with a wrap-up post to the participants. But we also like to see interaction between the different participants. So feel free to engage. It's a discussion, so feel free to engage with the posts that other participants have made. carry on the conversation within the forums as much as you see fit. Participation in the group work is also essential, which this means that if we're going to ask each group to appoint, let's say, a spokesperson, sort of an ambassador, who is going to also have to give us an idea of who actually has been active in the discussion and who, for example, has never shown up or never contributed anything. So there are different ways that you can engage with the course material. There are different ways that you can engage with the course team and faculty, and that you can engage with the other participants in the course. And that's where we see, that's how we measure the active participation throughout these 3 channels. So with the material itself, with the team and the experts that are going to be teaching the live sessions, but also with the other participants. And so that is where we're going to look at for to see whether you have been participating actively or not. And that's where the 10 extra points can come from if you need it for that little jump to the certificate of achievement. Lastly, let's take a look at the deadlines. So for the quizzes, normally we set a, this is for the quizzes and for the forum discussions. Normally we set a deadline on the last day of the course, which in this case is going to be on the 18th of October, which coincidentally is also the date where we will have the group work presentation. So the final presentation of the results of the group work. This is where the course is going to be wrapped up and concluded. For submitting the final essay, we're going to give you 2 extra weeks, so you will have time until the 1st of November. Try to make sure that you plan around these dates. Of course, they're not set in marble. We have been known to be flexible with deadlines, but we try to also, as a sign of respect towards the other participants who have completed their work on time, maybe already pencil this in your agenda so that you know to look forward to these deadlines in advance and prepare accordingly. One final point that is always very, very important for us is the evaluation of our work. At the end of the course, still on the eCampus platform, you're going to be asked to complete a satisfaction questionnaire. You will find a bunch of questions on how the course was organized, whether we have reached the objectives that we have set out at the beginning of the course, whether you had received enough information, were there any parts that you would have liked to know more about, anything that you would like to know less about, and so on. And it's also going to give you an indication of the different resource persons by name so that you can assess their contribution of the different experts. So that you can assess their contribution to the enhancement of your knowledge and to the overall achievement of the objective of the course. This for us is really, really important. We take a lot of care to go through the different satisfaction questionnaires because it helps us refine our offer and make sure that what we give you, that what we offer you is both relevant, it's timely, it's useful, and it's also set out in a way that is easy to use, easy to access, and that can maximize the impact of the work that we do. The questionnaires are completely anonymous, so feel free to be as transparent and as honest as you like. As I said, this for us is a way to continue to grow and to learn and to make sure that our offer is as relevant and as useful as possible. Now, I have tried to be exhaustive and as clear as possible in my presentation today. However, a bunch of questions may arise on the completion criteria, on the course structure, on the course requirements, and so on. So feel free to reach out to us. You can write to migration@itcilo.org. You have found the same email address also in the notification with the username and password to access the eCampus platform. So especially if you have issues with accessing the eCampus platform, please make sure to write to us. We're here to help. We're happy to help. Because we want you to be able to benefit from the course at the maximum degree possible. So feel free to reach out at any point if you have any questions. And really, that's it from my side from now. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for listening to this brief introduction to the course, and I very, very much look forward to seeing you online in the next few days. Thank you all, and see you soon.